I only I only started seriously dating when I was about 15 years old. Before that point, of course, I had a few girlfriends, but it was like childish shit. I never really put effort into acquiring those girls. They just kind of came towards me because I was a cute boy, I was different, and other factors. But I've only been in business with my internet cafe for the last 4 years. And running this business and being more intentional about growing it led me to realize that dating and business are pretty similar processes, particularly if you're a straight guy dating straight women or like women in general. They're pretty similar processes. So in this essay, I will explain the similarities between dating and business. So in business, you have to acquire, convert, and retain customers. And those same processes are exactly the same when it comes to dealing with women. So without further ado, this is today's essay. Acquiring, converting, and retaining women and customers are very similar processes. So we'll start with the acquisition stage. Number one, acquiring. You see, getting a girlfriend and a customer are similar in that most girls that you approach will curve you for some reason or another. This is what we'll call client objections. Maybe she's in a relationship or she's not looking for one right now, or she doesn't have time to speak to you that day because she's busy with school. Maybe she just thinks you're ugly, or maybe she has to go take a shit, bro. Like, have you ever considered that that like the girl you approached who just couldn't talk to you in that moment, like was probably having some bowel movements. She probably liked you, but she had to go take a shit. It is what it is. So similarly, potential customers in the context of business might already have a contractor who's already giving them the service you are offering, or they don't need your services right now, or they're too busy to listen to your offer because when you approach them, the store they were at has too much high traffic, or maybe they just think your offer is trash, like that girl thinking you are ugly. But the more women and customers that you approach, you increase the likelihood of finding one who is interested in what you have to offer. And this is what we call the conversion rate, which leads me to step two, converting a woman and a customer are similar in that even if they give you an objection today, it doesn't mean they won't be interested in your offer next week or even tomorrow. Her boyfriend might break up with her, i.e., their contractor retires or they switch out of the niche, or she finally feels ready for a relationship, i.e., your customer now needs the service that you are offering, or she's on a break from school. For example, your customer has low traffic to their store so they can finally hear out what you are offering. Or maybe she sees you constantly improving and then she starts to develop an interest in you, i.e., your offer improves. What you were offering before is now much better and it becomes more appealing to that potential customer you approached before. Number three is retaining your girlfriend and your customer. And these are similar in that you under promise and you over deliver. For example, you keep improving on your delivery as time passes to your customer. So you finally close them, you've done the service that you offered to them, but now you just find ways to optimize it for them specifically. So for example, you don't tell a girl that you are approaching immediately how much you earn. I hope you niggas are not. Please don't tell women how much you earn. You pretend to be broke and you suddenly surprise her with an extravagant birthday gift when she has been your girlfriend for a while. And then you find more ways to spoil her as you learn more and more about her, which in turn makes her appreciate you more and fall deeper in love with you. So much so that every other man who crosses her path is infinitely less appealing than you. So in the context of business, this is you giving your customer more value for the same or less money relatively than what they paid for, and then building better and better offers that are specifically tailored to them so that no other contractor can offer them what you can exactly. Even if you all offer the same service on a technical level. It doesn't have your flavor. So here's a more specific example to illustrate the broader points that I mentioned in the first 5 minutes of this essay. Like, let's say, for example, you do web development for medium sized businesses or small businesses. When you are out there headhunting for customers, probably every, how ironic, there's my customer. Barbie. Okay, fine. So, for example, 1 out of 10 businesses that you approach while you are out there headhunting customers might be interested in your offer. And let's assume that you close this one. That's a what? A 10% close rate, which is pretty high. Because even in dating and cold approach in person, the close rate is pretty high. It's pretty easy to ask a girl for her number and set up a date. Once she's seen like your mannerisms, she's heard your voice, she's like smelled you and stuff like that, whatever. But this stage is acquisition. The other 9 who were not interested, they aren't lost leads. They're just not hot leads yet. So as you build your reputation by delivering good work to the customers that you do get, other businesses become interested in what you do and your influence increases. This is conversion, and your conversion rate increases with the quality of your offer. So as you spend more time developing this customer's website, you're talking to them and you're taking note of their complaints, their desires, and the things that make them unique compared to their competitors. 6 months later, you've built this customer such a dope website that it looks nothing like what their competitors have. It's like so specific to them that it's not just a generic website for creches. Oh, we teach children who are like between 0 and 5 years old. It's like, yeah, I'm not a web developer, you know what I'm saying? But like in my context, it's like you've made posters where you are detailing the daily programs and like what kind of what was I printing for this lady? Hand washing routines, morning welcoming routines, and stuff like that. I printed a lot of stuff for that lady because I picked this example because this was a customer of mine, though I'm not a web developer. Anyway, so even if another web developer approaches them, they won't be able to replace you because whereas they do general websites, you do this Cretch's website better than any new coming web developer can. To learn the specific details of your customer's business or your customer's needs, they would have to start from scratch. And your customer wouldn't be down to do that because you have already provided them such a great service that no one else is as appealing. Like I said earlier, you do you treat your girlfriend so well in ways that are so specific to her that any other man who crosses her path is infinitely less appealing than you because they would have to learn her from scratch in order to beat you at this game. So your customer is like your girlfriend in that regard. So another way in which dating and business are similar is that the better your offer is, the easier it is to become successful in both of those realms. You see, most customers, for whatever you're offering, just like most women, desire very similar traits and services. Women generally like a guy who is handsome, kind, sociable, a great leader, taller than her, smarter than her, stronger than her, more confident, in great shape, earns more than them, etc. Stuff like that. I don't, these are just basics. I don't mean to speak about women as a monolith. I understand individual preferences vary greatly. I'm just making a point of what most women prefer in terms of their partners when it comes to men. There may be some rare exceptions of women who don't care for some of those traits. So my point is, if you possess a high level in a majority of those traits, like for example, being taller than most women, stronger than most women, kinder, funnier, more confident, richer than most women, etc., like the things I mentioned earlier, you are more likely to appeal to a wider pool of women, i.e., your conversion rate increases. So the more multifaceted you are, your conversion rate increases from like 10% to something like 50 or 70%. And also, the amount of women and customers who bring themselves towards you increases because there are more things about you that they like. In terms of customers, there are more things about you that they need done. Similarly, when you're doing B2B services, business to business services, most of your customers will require very similar things: marketing, social media management, graphic design, web development, printing, branding, administration, and bookkeeping, all of that good shit. So if you offer a high quality of service in a majority of those areas, you're more likely to appeal to a wider pool of customers. When you're doing outreach, you are more likely to close more customers, or outreach or advertising. You're more likely to appeal to a wider pool of customers. And also, more customers end up seeking you out because you possess one skill or another that they need your help with. So that wasn't a customer, that was my homie. Whether you are dating, looking for a girlfriend, or running a business, you can never go wrong by being multifaceted. In terms of dating, you can never go wrong by improving your physique and your looks, by improving your social skills so that you can read social cues better, by becoming more knowledgeable so that even with the women you do end up attracting, you're just endlessly teaching them new things and expanding their minds, by learning game so that you know exactly how to navigate your relationships and your interactions with women. And in business, you can never go wrong by being multifaceted and learning all the skills that go towards building a business: sales, marketing, graphic design. Like those B2B services that you offer other businesses are things that you will use in your own business as well. You're gonna learn how to use Facebook ads in your own business and then offer that same service to other businesses so that they can grow their businesses via Facebook ads. You're going to learn graphic design in order to create engaging posters and then offer that service to other businesses so that they can also create engaging posters for their potential customers. Do you get what I mean? Whichever of those two realms, or even in both of them, you can't go wrong by being a well-rounded man or being a well-rounded business owner. So here's another way in which business and dating are similar. God, what's going on with this angle, man? Ish. Right, this thing is not fuck it. It is what it is. You're here for the words, not my good looks anyway. So another way in which business and dating are similar is that you get better with repetition and practice. When you first approach your first customer, you might not know exactly what to offer them. Your value proposition might be clumsy, and the customers that you do get, you probably won't be as good at providing value to them compared to like your 10th customer, unless you are like constantly, intentionally getting better. But even then, it's a process of repetition anyway. But by customer like number 15 or 20, you probably could be an expert in the field of whatever value proposition you are offering them. Bro, my first posters were ass. Like, they were absolute trash. I made them with Microsoft Word. And now I realize that even with Microsoft Word, I could have made something much better. But do you think I would have reached this realization were it not for like 4 years of using all the two different types of offices that I'm aware of anyway, Microsoft Word and Libre, and then coming to the awareness of the online office, which is Canva, which offers like a more vast array of options? Of course not. But because this is what I do to live, this is what I do to eat, I just naturally got better at it. And in those periods where I was intentionally practicing and getting better at it, my rate of growth and knowledge acquisition was way faster than just me waiting for customers to come and ask me for something. But even those customers helped me grow as well because you have to learn on the spot. Someone comes, they're like, Ish, I made a mistake while signing this form. Do you think you can help me remove this signature that I put in the wrong place? And you're like, okay, cool. You go around, you're shopping around for ideas, and then like 3 years later, now you understand. Oh, okay, it's just I love PDF and Microsoft Paint. You're done with it in 5 years. That customer would have taken 2 or 3 years to learn that, or maybe even more, considering they don't have your baseline level of like computer knowledge. That's just an example from a customer I had this morning. But I'm saying with intentional iteration, you could become an expert in your field and become one of the most desirable solutions to the problems that your customers and the customers of your competitors have. Like, for example, my competitors, I don't know if this is by choice or if they're just trying to maximize profit margins, but a customer of mine told me that they don't print uh, multiple pictures on a page because they insist on printing one picture per page and still charging the same. In fact, it's like 2 rands higher than mine per page in color. For if, for example, a customer goes to them and they want to print 8 pictures, they're gonna insist that that customer prints each picture in its own page, and then it comes out to about 80 rand. And if that customer has the cash, of course they'll pay it for just like 8 pictures. But my customers are so loyal to me because I'm willing to be like, you know what, no, I'll do like 4 pictures for you on a page, and it's still 8 rands either way because it's relatively, like, it's not so much more ink. I'm not optimizing solely for profit margins, but I'm also optimizing for customer loyalty. And that, in a weird way, also improves your profit margins as well, because now you're the only person that they know of who does this specific thing that they need done. And similarly, with dating, the first girl you ever approach, it might be awkward. You might be a little shy, you might come off as a creep, you might run out of things to say, and even if you do get a girlfriend in that period where, like, for example, you are early in your self improvement, you still wouldn't know how to treat her as a girlfriend unless you are intentionally learning consistently. You won't know how to escalate or kiss, invite her to your place, or even fuck her properly. But the longer she is your girlfriend, or the longer, I'm not encouraging this at all, but the more you go around, you're getting better with women, you are practicing closing these deals, getting them to your place, getting them to sleep with you, then of course you're going to get better at these aspects of cold approaching, increasing chemistry, escalating, kissing, fucking. It's just like it's kind of impossible not to, bro. Because, like, it's kind of impossible to do something every day and not get better at it, even if you're not intentional about the process. By the time you approach 10 girls, from, like, let's say you're a virgin who's never cold approached any girl, by the time you approach 10 girls, you will have a much better rhythm than with your first approach. And by the time you get your 20th or your 10th girlfriend, out of maybe, I don't know, 300 cold approaches, you will be super smooth in handling that relationship. You will be more emotionally intelligent. You will be a better communicator and a better lover, right? But both of those realms require intentional practice, trial, error, and iteration on your errors. So those are just the ways that I've identified so far in which business and dating are similar. In fact, once you master or you get good at dating, it's kind of hard to not apply those principles smoothly to business. And if you get good at business or sales, it's kind of hard to not easily transfer those same principles and behaviors to dating. So, whichever stage in your life you are at right now, whether you're prioritizing business, like making more money, or dating, I promise you, you get good at one, you will get good at the other one much more quickly than you would have if you were starting from scratch at both. So anyway, that's it for this video. I might have said some things that don't make sense to most people. They might sound controversial or offensive. I don't care. I'm not here to appease your emotions. So if you got any value out of this, stick around for more insightful takes like this by hitting that subscribe button. And if you want to check out the Hybrid Hustlers course to figure out your own system for making money in the trap, just a few cents here and there, and like really get into the mindset of making money, top link in the description and the bio. and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.